Chair recognizes Representative Tucker for a motion.
Thank you. Having voted on the prevailing side on HCR2, I move reconsideration.
This is on HCR2, an act applying to Congress to hold a convention for amendments. Having considered, yep, that's the title of it, and that was a ought to pass motion, and the motion is on reconsideration of that. Chair recognizes the member from Londonderry, Representative Baldessaro, to speak in favor of the reconsideration motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Fellow reps, I just wanted to come back up here and reiterate. You know, I have one of them loud voices. I'm right next to the mic, so it may be up above there.
Yep.
Because the first sergeant's never wrong when he speaks. No, just kidding. Little humor here to wake you up after lunch, right? All right. It's great to be an American, ain't it? Okay, since we're talking about it's great to be an American, this bill, HCR2 that passed, I told you I was for it once before until I did my homework. I honestly believe that we, as legislators, made a terrible mistake on this here. And the reason why, if you remember in the past, the media controlled the elections with billions of dollars being thrown in elections. Some medias even called it. Unions were dumping in millions and millions of dollars into the election. All of a sudden, Citizens United decision comes along, and oh, we don't want that no more. Because now American citizens can come together, put their money in PACs, and not be fear of intimidation to ensure that the other side is seen right, is seen or heard. This here legislation, if you look in the past, and I tried to explain this the last time, somebody that read the history here on what went on in the last Constitutional Convention, or the convention, it was a disgrace. It was a secret ballots. There were many changes that were done. They had no control. We had no clue what went on. That's why it's important for New Hampshire, a small state, 1.3 something, whatever it is, residents here, 1.3 million. What I'm trying to tell you here is we're a very small blip on the map. If we let this go and there is a constitutional convention and they identify and make changes to our Constitution, we're going to pay for it. Right now it's important because we're the first in the nation. We cannot take a gamble on losing our rights or our anything with a constitutional convention. So I'm asking you, please, let's re-look at this here. And maybe after we're done, let's table it, get rid of it. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the member from Swansea, Representative McConnell, to speak in favor of reconsideration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of the reconsideration. Can you hear me? I rise in support of the reconsideration. As I mentioned last week on the floor about conventions in general, I think they're a terrible idea. They're going to be a runaway. There's every reason to believe that the Supreme Court will allow the convention to determine anything and everything that it chooses to. With respect to the particular issue that this particular convention has been called and presumed to be addressing, it seems to me that Citizens United, while in many ways terrible, fact is that it levels the playing field. Without Citizens United, the unions are going to have their way, and they mean it. So I'd encourage all those who don't think that's such a great idea to think hard about the fact that, in fact, this is the worst of the lot in a lot of ways, on the theory that there is a chance that maybe this won't be a runaway convention. I think that chance is slim, but the truth is that this is a bad bill, and I hope that we'll defeat it.
Chair recognizes Representative Thaberge to speak against reconsideration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I, for one, granted that the media may try to sway votes, they give you food for thought to ponder, but the bottom line is we all have a mind of our own on how we vote. There was a resounding vote on this one on the prevailing side, for HCR2. The bottom line is that the unions, we're after the unions as well. We're not giving them a free ride on this one. We're trying to rein them in as well for HCR2. But to say that we don't have that our vote doesn't count, that we're a small, insignificant state, I take umbrage with that. Your votes, fellow members of the House, does count. And if you're ready for a lengthy debate, I am not. So please vote not to reconsider HCR2. Thank you.
Does the member yield to a question?
No.
Member does not yield. Question is on the motion to reconsider. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Division was called for. This will be a division vote. Members will take their seats. Yeah, now that it's a division. House will come to order. Question is on the motion of reconsideration. The chair recognizes Timothy Smith for a parliamentary inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, if I know that we still have almost 100 bills to get through today, and if I know that this bill was passed by a wide margin and was originally on the consent calendar, and Mr. Speaker, if I know that spending the next hour or more listening to the same four people give the same four speeches all over again simply does not rise to a level of a priority, would I push the red button so that we can get on with the people's business?
Question is on the motion of reconsideration on HCR 2. It's a division vote. If you are in favor, you'll press the green button. If you're opposed, you'll press the red button. Voting stations will be open for 30 seconds. Representative Baldessaro, you know that the other side always has. We're in the voting mode at this point. The voting stations are open. You will be seated. If you fail to vote, you need to come down front. Representative Marston. Have all members voted who were here when the question was put? House will attend to the state of the vote. There having been 135 in the affirmative, 224 in the negative, the motion fails.